Hey, Chris here from The Chris Stefanik Show, where we talk about how to live out God's plan for you each and every day in your everyday life in a way that makes you more alive and more joyful. Check it out. So you're trying out for the SEALs. This is the thing you had in mind, the goal. Most people who try for that dream don't make it.
They don't make it.
Which, quick tangent, if you're going for a dream, it's so that you become who God wanted you to be, not necessarily so that you accomplish exactly what you had in mind, right? And that's cool. Like, there's got to be a healthy detachment. But what percentage of guys make it into SEALs who go into buds?
Just to put it into perspective, there's so many different variables from the day that guys are like, I want to be a SEAL, all the way until you actually get your trident and go through a team and go to the level that I was eventually blessed enough to go to. Is just to isolate buds itself is like, we started with 225 guys.
Yeah.
And about 13 of those original 225 made it. That's just in buds.
Dude.
That's just the guys that started and got their tridents, right? So
wow.
That was down to nothing. And then when you get to your team, you lose more. You go through training, you lose more.
Wow.
The odds are like against itself.
Yeah, and then there's SEAL Team 6, which you were on, which is the SEAL of the SEALs.
Yeah.
I don't know how you articulate that, but you're seeing most of the action. So it's saying I want to do that is kind of like showing up and saying, hey, I have a new guitar. I want to be a famous guitarist. It's like, okay, well, I hope you like playing guitar, but I can't promise you that.
Yeah.
What, again, healthy detachment from how things end up, but what qualities did you see in guys that made it through?
Purpose. Purpose and a why. They had a strong why with what they did and what they believed in. No matter how bad it got, no matter how cold it got, no matter how much something really sucked, you could look in a guy's eyes and know that he knows why he's there. He's got a vision, a purpose. I always had my nieces and nephews and my family in my heart to why I was doing this. I wanted to be at the tip of the spear, but it was always like, okay, well, why do I want to do that? There's a purpose for me going to do this job. So I think a strong why really separated guys. And that set the foundation for them to be great warriors, great men.
Dude, I think for a lot of guys who don't make it, it's and part of the reason they probably put people through such a grueling process is to make sure that they really want it.
100%.
Is to weed out the people who don't have a strong enough why. My brother-in-law, he was in buds and he rang the bell. He was the top of the class and he was loving it. And he's like, once he hit Hell Week, he just realized, I don't want this that bad. I literally want to say I'm a SEAL more than I want to be one.
Yeah.
But then he ended up serving with your team in a support role, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But that why? I think that to bring it full circle and tie in your Christian conversion and the SEAL thing, that's what drives you through life as a Christian man, as a dad.
That's correct.
It's hanging on to that why. And that's under constant attack, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, there's the real warfare.
That's the full circle of realizing. So we ask ourselves, well, what forces guys or pushes guys to the level that they make it? Well, you have the strong why, right? We have a very specific mission set. We're like, hey, we're going on target. We're kicking the door down. This is what we're doing. And it's kind of easy almost in a sense to be very focused that much. But when you take that off, when you take the confines of the military and the structure, and all of a sudden a guy gets out, right? And you don't have this government system to kind of push you through to get you to the door like we were talking about before this started. That essentially starts to break down. You're like, wait a minute, I did have a strong why, but now all these other things are in play. You're out in the real world. I have a family, I have a wife and kids. I have a real job. I have to be a service to my community. And then that's where the faith element starts coming into play, where it's like, if you don't have that, I just watch guys, and we all know guys that have struggled deeply. Yeah. And that's not just in the military, that's any part of life, without having that strong faith. There's all these things out there to help guys, all these types of therapy, and I can't help but to have a hard time with most of them in the sense of, hey guys, you're not doing that first. And that's your biggest healing and therapy that you will ever lean on, because I've watched it. And I know that I've been in my own dark paths, my own dark journey, not even before the military, but during losing guys and going through that and seeing my own healing journey. That's why I think God, call it God's permissive will, that I was able to see some of the things that I did. I mean, I did a lot wrong. I'm so blessed and thankful to be here today.
Praise God.
But it's because of those things, those experiences, that adversity that allowed me to see these things differently. And through a lens of like, when people are hurting, like we want to be able to love them where they're at and meet them and understand what they're going through. It's hard to do that when you haven't really been there yourself. And I think that that's why, you know, warriors and people that have those experiences are so valuable to the community.
Man, wasn't that great? I get so much out of these conversations. I know you will too. Be sure to hit subscribe and share the show with everybody you know. We'll see you in the next video.